Hey YouTube, what's up? It's me, Khalid. I just wanted to address an issue real quick. I was actually wondering, what if the whole world went vegan? First, for one, I can honestly say that people would be much healthier on a vegan-based diet, especially since many articles, and writings and studies have shown that you're less likely to get heart disease, heart attacks, heart failure, and cancer if you're vegan, but you're more likely to get those diseases if you consume meat, like most people. And another thing is that, I can honestly say that, if everyone went vegan, then the animals themselves would overpopulate the earth. I mean, that's the question. Would animals overpopulate the earth if everyone went vegan? Because, animals, when they have kids, what's going to happen? You think? They're going to overpopulate. Wouldn't they overpopulate to the point where they might not have anything left to eat? Because 75% of animals around the world themselves are plant-based creatures. Have a plant-based diet. Not plant-based creatures, excuse me. So most animals, 75% of them, have a plant-based diet. So wouldn't that mean that if us human beings would be consuming plant-based diet, wouldn't that mean that the animals would be impacted by this because of the lack of plant-based foods that they have available? Not to mention, there would be an overpopulation. Wouldn't there be an overpopulation crisis in the planet if that was the case when it comes to animals? And three, my question is, would this create an imbalance when it comes to when it comes to food consumption? There are people that eat meat. There are people that are just strictly vegan. Not everyone can go vegan. Not everyone can just eat animals, because if all we did was just continue to eat animals over and over and over again, then what would that tell you? That would just tell you that all the animals would be extinct and we'd have nothing left to eat. For those that eat meat, at least. So my point is that to me is just something to consider. Sorry about that, but anyway, look, what's actually strange is that I don't think many people put this into consideration. It's good to consider the thought of animal cruelty, and even before I became a vegetarian, I have opposed animal cruelty. I never liked the idea, and I hate it when people would say things like, well, God put animals in this earth so that we can eat them. Well, then that means that there's no need for us to eat vegetables. And throughout history, there have been a lot of problems with meat. For one, most historical figures ended up with bad side effects such as gout, which is when you consume too much protein, it starts to affect the knees and the joints. Everyone would be having gout left and right, and you'd probably see a lot more obese people on this planet. And that's not so that argument itself is not very strong. That argument is pretty weak, if I might add, simply because of the fact that with this kind of thing, saying like animals were there for us to eat, well, what about vegetables and things like tofu, like soy? Why are they here? They're there for us to eat too. But I can honestly say that if animals are going to be overpopulated, then would they have enough plant-based foods left to eat if animals overpopulated the earth? Not to mention, if you really think about this, now hear me out here, it's not, when you want to grow a plant, like put the seed inside the soil, it takes longer for it to grow versus having a plant that you can just water every single other time. And my point is, doesn't there need to be, wouldn't this create an imbalance? Because I sure as heck wouldn't want an imbalance between plants and animals here. But it's not like I am making an excuse for people that eat meat or whatever. This is something I've been thinking about for the past few months now. If everyone went vegan, would there be an overpopulation crisis when it comes to the animals? Would there be lack of resources, not only for us human beings to eat, but also for the animals? Would they have anything to eat? Because animals, they're living creatures just like plants and human beings are. And studies have actually shown that plants themselves have consciousness and emotional feeling, and they feel pain just as much as us human beings and animals do. Scientific studies have actually shown this from time and time again. It says so in any science class. They say the same thing. They're living things just like us. Only difference is when they reproduce, they don't find the mate. They reproduce within their own bodies. So, and they have chlorophyll, things like that, where they make their own food inside their body. But my point is, would there be an overpopulation crisis? Would there be lack of resources because us human beings would be consuming them faster than the plants themselves would be growing? And how much could the earth sustain, I suppose, when it comes to food and everything like that? So that's another thing I was thinking about. I had so many questions regarding this issue. So and I thought for sure that animals themselves wouldn't really have much of many homes left, and a lot of animals would be dying left and right, and they'd be so desperate to the point maybe they would start eating other foods that are not plant-based, that is just simply out of the ordinary for them. Like the drought issue. There were in California, like with the drought issue, there wasn't much left for cows to eat as far as like fresh grass. So would this really be the fate of human beings and animals? So if all the plant-based foods were decreasing due to consumption, would we revert back to eating meat, or would we just resort to just eating soy-based foods and fungi like mushrooms, which are edible, of course? I mean, plants are not the only things human beings eat. I mean, there's also soy, tofu, whatever. And there's also meat, of course, but this doesn't really apply to like vegans or vegetarian, many other vegetarians out there who are strongly against drinking milk. So I don't know. I mean, these were my opinions, but now I'm kind of just questioning if that's actually true or not. But leave your comments down below. Sorry if it's a long video, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Take care.